Hey everyone, it's Patrick here with A Tale of Two Gardens here with another video of my winter garden challenge that will be soon turning into a spring garden challenge. It was a weird day. I woke up to snow and I planned on doing things that would incorporate me cutting into the ground. So I did a little bit of hodgepodge today. So a little bit of everything. One project I had was actually something that needed to be done in both community garden and home garden, which is we got some bare root roses that needed potted. So they will be going into containers, and they finally had done some of their work, and I'll talk about that in a minute. And so I got that done, and then I had some lettuce seed, some green seed that needed to be put in the ground soon. So that was my main project that I could videotape for you. So let's go ahead and move into it. So I went over to the community garden because it's out on the field. It's been sunny since it snowed. Finally got rid of this cold, and the soil could be worked enough that I could put some seed in. So I brought my trusty hoe with me. We weeded out the garden beds over the weekend, and they were really good, so I figured they was pretty confident that I could get the soil worked in and get the seeds in. The ones I'll be doing are just general lettuce, not head lettuce, but just loose leaf lettuce. There's a bib lettuce, there was a dark green dwarf lettuce that I put in there too, and basically I just did 6 rows, about a foot apart, a little less than a foot, 6 inches to a foot or so. I'm doing this in a particular part of the garden that I'm going to be pulling everything at come to June anyways, because I'll be putting in our tomato plants. So this is a way for me to be able to get a quick crop out of them. And I want to do a special video about that later, where I actually discuss how the community garden is vastly different than what I would be doing in my home garden. And one of the differences is only having 7 4x8 beds and 2 long beds that take a lot of space and a lot of things to do in those. But that means certain crops can't be done, or certain crops are the only thing that can be done in the bed. So this was one of the unique ones that we talked about as a community garden group, that we could do some salad groupings early on, deliberately do them when they're small, and know that they won't get into their full size, but we can at least get something out of the ground for that short amount of time between now and when the tomatoes go in. So that'll be a quick way for us to be able to use the soil and use the bed for something good. So I had some 3 packets of seed, and went ahead and broadcast them into the hoed space. I kind of messed up on the first 2. I kind of did a little too much for those. Normally when I hoe a valley, what I normally will do is just push the mounded soil on one side through, so it only gets a little bit of a cover. But I did the 6 rows of that for my garden project outside today, that I could record for you all. So, but I have some other things that are going on here for this, but it's just a simple project. If you have a little soil at home that you can do this in, you don't need a lot of space for salad greens. They can easily be done with 4 to 6 inches or so of space, and they can take a month, 2 months to be able to finish out. So if you're looking for kind of barrier crops, that's a good idea. Something that you can bumper our garden season. So that was project 1 that I did today. Project 2 was rooting in our bare root roses. When you buy roses, you can buy them as a small plant that have already in a pot, already good to go. But another option that you can buy is bare root roses. So one of the roses that we bought, it comes in a box, comes with basically a root stock. Basically, it has the root system on one side, and then it has a couple stems on the other side. You then will container it or put it in the ground where you need to go, and then it'll grow on fairly rigorously that way. And you can do a few different things, and I'll walk you through a little bit of that. So we've done these a couple of years in a row, and they're English rows from David Austin. And they have a lot of different cheat sheets that you can do. Highly recommend if you're going to go that route to do that. But this was today. This was year 0. So it comes with that, and then the rootstocks underneath. You can buy a special fungi that you can put on your rootstock to be able to encourage growth and encourage the fungi to actually help invigor your plant early on. And basically what you want to make sure to do is when you put the rootstock in the ground or a container, you want to make sure that it's filled up past where the plant has been grafted. So the plant is connected to a rootstock that's not the original plant. So you want to cover that up just in case, because the rootstock will grow, and if there's any sunlight on the original rootstock, you'll be getting branches from that rootstock. So let's say I have a rose here that's supposed to be a red rose, hypothetically. Well, if the rootstock is a white rose originally, and I don't have it covered up, I'll end up getting branches with white roses on them. And sometimes it actually can take out what they call grafted. So you want to make sure to cover it up. Keep them well watered, and then normal, tend and care that you would give any kind of rose that you do. Now, from same company, same group, same kinds of roses we get container-wise. This is year 0. Here is year 1. It's already at the same time. This is taken today, and you can see how it's grown on. Already got new leaves. Already gotten some new stems, kind of working on there. Fast forward. This is year 2, and these are Munstead wood, which is a reddish purple fuchsia color almost, and a lovely color. You can see that the stems have already gotten really mature. The coloring on the rose leaves are a little different, but arguably this one is a little different because this was our first year that we did them, and we did actually use the mycorrhizal fungi on these ones. So you can actually see that it did really help invigor growth in it. So highly recommend that. But that was my other project for today. So kind of a weird mix of things, but the garden doesn't necessarily mean that one project at a time. Sometimes you're juggling. But that was me today in the garden. I'll be back again tomorrow. We'll be working in the community garden, and I'll be working on some fencing. So look forward to that. Otherwise, I hope things are going well for you. Feel free to like, follow, share. Feel free to comment. What have you been working on in your garden lately? Otherwise, I hope everything's going well. And as always, happy gardening.